We're getting started. Mike, we're getting started. You can hear me. Chris, you got the camera?
Yep.
Okay. Can you see our live feed yet? Brad?
Yep.
You can see us? We're live? Seriously?
Yep.
So this is Friday, right? It is Friday, right? It's Friday.
It's Friday.
Woo! It must be noon. And oh my goodness, this is Festool Live. Happy Festool Friday, everybody. I'm kind of like a fish out of water right now because this is our first international Festool Live. And we are coming live, this is episode 112, before I forget, we are coming live from, let me get it right, everybody, George Brown College.
Yep.
In Toronto. I know there's a second T in there, but it's kind of like Oregon. I know it's Oregon now. Ontario, Canada. And this is a friend of mine, Connor Malloy, and he graciously invited us here to do Festool Live. I was really excited because I met you about 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
Yeah, 4 years ago at JLC Live.
That's right. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's cool. And then I think I saw you at Atlas, too.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, we'll be there tomorrow morning, everybody, at Atlas Tool. And that's in, make sure I say this right, Islington? Did I say that right?
Yep.
Islington, Canada, Ontario, Canada. And we'll be there, I think it's 9 to 3, but check their website. We'll be demoing tools all day long. Okay, so I'm going to introduce the room. Oh, boy. What did I say earlier, right? Okay, so. Wow, I'm not going to introduce everybody, but over here, behind the camera, you know who it is. He traveled with me. We drove up here. They let me through customs, which I couldn't believe. Go figure. How long did they detain us, Chris? About 5-6 hours?
Sure.
I couldn't believe what you said, but, you know, it's Chris's fault. Okay, over here, on the board and writing where you're from. This is Brad Sedge's Lucky Charm Colburn. He's our sales manager in the area. Let's see, who else do I have? I have Brent Shively online. Of course, you're watching YouTube live, but this will live eventually, hopefully later today, on IG and also Facebook. So make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bells, make sure we're friends of yours so you never miss an episode of Festool Live. And this is episode 112. Okay, so Chris, can we pan over? We got all these wonderful students here, and there's different levels here of students.
Yep. We've got some students here from first year, second year, and third year.
Okay, hang on.
We have some students here from our first year of the program, second year of the program, and our third year graduating program.
Okay, and Connor, could you describe a little bit about what you do here and what George Brown's all about?
Yeah, so my name's Connor Malloy. I've been teaching full-time at George Brown College for 4 years, right when I met you down in Rhode Island, at JLC Live. Wow. My background was in construction, and my favorite parts of building was mentoring employees and teaching and learning, and I joined the wonderful school of George Brown College 4 years ago. And so we are a program that teaches building and renovation.
Oh, cool.
So teaching general carpentry, and that involves everything from residential framing into millwork and trim, exterior finishing, building science today, teaching control layers, water management, vapor control, using blower doors and fog machines and thermal imaging cameras, and of course using stationary and portable equipment to make millwork.
Wow, I want to come to school here. So I got another question for you because I know the answer to this, but I want people to understand this. The pandemic hit, right?
Yeah.
So describe, because I couldn't believe what everybody went through here, but they were still in classes.
Yeah, so for our group, and those including our friends here today and our students here today, when we shut down in March 2020, we've effectively, most of our classes have been online, except for just the mandatory shop classes.
Yeah.
And those went from teaching groups of 25 to 30 down to groups of 10. Wow. So that was through distancing.
Yep.
So what we had to do was triple the shop time.
Yep.
So rather than 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., we ran 7 to 7, mostly all the way through the weekend. We rented wedding tents to set up in the parking lots We bought a lot more portable tooling to teach millwork and framing outside in a wedding tent through the summer and through a couple years ago fall.
Wow.
But my first time back on campus teaching was last week. I've been at home in my garage teaching virtually for 30 months, working with our students.
Incredible.
Yeah, so some of my colleagues have been back teaching, but this is our first semester being back here at full steam, all in person.
Huh, and are you I know this is, this section here is the building trades, but describe the building trades here, because it's not just millwork and renovation.
That's right. Yeah, so our program is really an entry into, you think carpentry, so general carpentry, so our program is building and renovation technology. We have a 2-year program and a 3-year program. The 2-year program learns the basics of wood framing and millwork and trim, how a site works, largely the hands-on details. The 3rd year of the program then teaches more site coordination, business management, building science, design, personal finance, accounting, property development, everything you might want to do and have to know either as a site lead or someone who runs a small business. But we're just one of 6 other trades at the school. We have electrical, HVAC, plumbing, millwright, welding, and sheet metal?
Man.
Yes, there we go. So we're a large school. We've been here for 70 years.
70?
70 years.
Wow.
We're the biggest shops in the school because of what we teach and the size of our classes. We have, in total, in all 3 years, about 350 students just in our building and renovation program. Then we add electrical, plumbing, HVAC, all the other trades, and that's just the trade component of our school. So we were the biggest in Ontario, potentially biggest in Canada for skilled trades.
Wow. I want to come to school here. I'm coming back to school.
Who doesn't?
Hey, I know. I'm telling you, it's pretty awesome. Okay, so the other thing I'll mention is I was so impressed when I was talking to Connor, because back then, I think 4 years ago, you were looking to buy some Festool.
Yeah, exactly.
You were looking at it, and then all of a sudden, I find out, boy, you bought quite a bit. And then when we were talking on the phone, it was interesting because I'm going to be doing some training with the students today.
Yes.
And it's a lot of the stuff is already on Festool Live on different episodes, but I think I'm going to combine 2 different major components of the Festool system, okay, because you bought it right before the pandemic.
That's right. Some of these things have been sitting in skids for the last 24 months before we can get back and unpack things, do training, do setups. Because a lot of our equipment previous to the past 3 years was large stationary equipment. So we would build millwork and cut panels and make dados with dado stacks, stationary saws. And to get our students ready for job sites, working in a garage, setting up in a kitchen, we wanted to make sure we also invested in portable tooling that would allow them to get the same results without chip out and square, comfortable ways to clamp without needing a full 10,000 square foot wood shop. So I have a question for you.
Now you're talking.
Can you show us a bit of how the MFT system can help us with clamping?
Yes.
To make sure we're safe and things are simple for us, but also to lessen reliance on some of the large stationary. Can you show us how to cut some simple dados and make more use of the routers that we invested in?
100%.
Beautiful.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Connor, very, very much. All right, so I guess I got to go to work, huh? Wow. Okay. This is awesome. Now, here's what I'm going to tell the students. I am doing a little bit of a training here, so everybody online, pay attention. Okay. There's going to be points where my back is to you, and you might not see this. So afterwards, if you want to come up and see it, we're going to basically do this for the live, but I'll be training you, and you'll get a good gist of what I'm showing you. And you can also go and watch it if you miss something, because it'll live forever on YouTube. Okay? Unfortunately, you're going to have to listen to me again. All right. So, wow, this is fun. Okay, here we go. So as I've been walking around these rooms this morning and meeting some wonderful people, and we're pulling out some MFTs. MFT is a multifunction table. Okay, and I've been watching you. I've been walking back and forth because I'm going to pull out some. I've been drinking my Timmy Hortons from Canada. Okay, Chris is sold on the double doubles. All right, good. I heard there was a Wayne Gretzky too, huh? What was that? 9 creams and 9 sugars? That's unbelievable, because he was 99, right? Gretzky, the great one? Okay, good. In the U.S., we do know a little bit about hockey as well. Okay, good. All right, so as we talk about the MFT, and I was watching everybody working over here this morning, I noticed you have some new benches, or bench tops, right? You have some vices on them. And the one thing about the multifunction table, it is a workbench, and a lot of people don't understand that. So I love talking about this workbench alone. A lot of the times you'll see it in our catalogs that we have a crosscut station set up here for the track saw. And I saw some of you using track saws this morning. All right, so maybe someday I'll come back and we'll do some more training. Okay, so we have a variety of clamps. I didn't bring all of them today, but I want to talk about a few things that I grew up with. Connor and I were discussing this morning. I had Brad, Lucky Charm, bring the new clamping set. And I was looking over at these tables and there's no holes drilled in them. And I have always called these dog holes. I've been using dogs my whole life, okay? Where I can set this up, okay? And what a dog does is it impedes the forward momentum of a board, okay? So I like to use hand planes, and the only thing I have to do on a workbench is put that dog in there, okay? Drill some holes on the benches, and I can do this. I can hand plane because I'm going in this direction. Okay, now when you have a sander or something and you're sanding something, okay, there's sometimes you may be holding it and sanding, and that's going to go all over the place. Now comes into play these. These are clamps. We have the ratcheting, and we also have the screw clamps. And these dog holes, this little L goes underneath like this, and you can lock it down, and you can sand and do whatever, you can cut. Okay, and you're not just, because I saw some of you this morning with trigger clamps, you were clamping like this on the edge, right? Okay, this opens you up to a lot of possibilities in clamping. And over time you'll get more clamps here, Festool clamps, and you'll see how they work. Okay, but we have dogs. We just came out with this one. I don't know if you all know what a holdfast is, but we call this a lever clamp. And it goes in like this into one of the dog holes and locks in. It's that quick. Okay, so we have, and we keep coming out with Festool, we keep coming out with a variety of clamping options. What a lot of people don't know that I absolutely love about the table are these aluminum extrusions, because the clamp can go in here. So say you got to clamp something vertically, like this 2x4, okay? You can clamp it like this. But what happens? It wants to fall down, doesn't it? So what I do is I tell people, just takes, we call this a dead man. You could take it like this, bring it in like this, and now you can work on whatever you want. So you can clamp it in vertical and on the front, okay? Say you're routing some hinges for a door. You can bring your door right in here, okay? If this is even right here on the multifunction table, right? And you can take the clamp, come in this way, clamp the door, and route your hinges. You can put a couple of sustainers, system containers on the bottom to elevate the door so it's at the right height for you. But it's great to route hinges. You probably do some big doors and that, setting doors and millwork, right? Okay. The nice thing about the MFT, the multifunction table, is the legs fold up. And I think it's 65 pounds, 67 pounds, and you can just carry it right to the job site and set up. So you're taking all that accuracy from the joinery or cabinetry or millwork shop, and you're able to bring it out to the job site. Okay, so it just works that way. We also have this, which is a low profile. You're working with 1/2 inch material, 1/4 inch material. These are 20 millimeter. They fit in here like this and like this. And it's a lower profile and a wider stop. So it just works. Now, what we don't have here is what we call a clamping element. Well, you guys will be getting some of those soon. Is it goes into the opposing hole. It's a little piece that you push up against here, and it's a cam that locks it in. So now it's a low profile over everything, and then you have a perfect sanding apparatus to sand, and it won't move when you're using a sander or a router. Any questions on the table? Oh, excellent. Wow, I think I'm done here. No, I'm going to keep going. Okay. And you guys, after live, will, oh, did I say you guys all getting t-shirts and hats? I did, didn't I? So don't leave. That's how you keep a captured audience, even though it's lunchtime. Okay, good. All right, so I didn't stage anything walking in here this morning at 8 o'clock. Thank you, Connor, for opening it up. And as I walked here, I said, that's where we're going to be. And it's funny because look what you have on the board. All right, look, right here. Because we're going to be doing dados today with the router. All right? And if we look up here, oh, this is kind of fun. Look, I'll get my pointer. Look, leg notching, okay? And this is great when I saw this. Because leg, the first way you guys did it, you did it with a handsaw and chisel. I've done that. Okay? The second way to do this notching, a circular saw and a chisel. We've all done that. And a circular saw could be a handheld saw, it could be a track saw, it could also be a slide compound miter saw like the K-Pex. Okay? And the third way is a table saw with a dado setup. Have you all done a setup with a dado? Those take what? 30 seconds to set up? Right? You put the inside chip outside, and all the chippers, you put the inside blade, all the chippers, you do it, you run it, and you got to put shim stock in there. It can be a laborious task, right? Okay, I'm going to show you, look, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to show you 4 of 4. I've always called this a paradigm shift, okay? Where here in North America, yes, I could do dados, I could make a jig with a regular round base router. I did them all the time. But when somebody asks me, why buy or why use a Festool router? And I was blown away when we were on the phone, Connor, to find out, I think you bought 16 OF 1400s. I was blown away this morning when I opened up a 1400, and what was nice, it had the #1 accessories you should always have with a 1400. It's called a guide stop. And it's this piece right here. Okay? And I'm going to take this apart so you can see it. By the way, these rods come with the 1400. They're in the bottom of the sustainer. Okay, but this is a guide stop. So if you've ever set up a router or made a jig for a router to do a tenon or a dado or a stop dado or a mortise, how long do you spend making a jig just to take the router and go a couple times? And where does the jig go? Up on the wall. All right, because someday you may need that, right? But it sits there. I call that a time trophy, okay? If you look at the MFT with the hardware package, combine that with the OF 1400, you have a joinery machine. And hopefully today you can see that as I set this up. And it won't take long. All right, here we go. So when you set up, and you only have to set this up once, the guide stop, okay, it locks in here, and you're gonna notice these two channels here. It goes on this rib right here. Okay, but when you get this, the setup, and I'm gonna, hopefully we'll get this for the camera, you'll see these two tabs and screws in here. Okay, what I did this morning is I knocked out the lateral tolerance, so there's no play in there, but this assures that it's gonna ride right on that rib parallel. Okay, there's two little tabs in here. So this one, I didn't tune up, and if I put it here, you can hear it. See the movement? So what I did is I knocked out I call this growing up slop in something, right? I knocked out the lateral tolerance, the play. So now, this rides on the rail like this. Okay. Next, I put an 18mm bit in here. Okay. Hey, I got a question. You guys use here in class imperial or metric?
Imperial.
Imperial, wicked. Okay, so I put a 3/4 bit in here. Okay, I like to use metric, okay, because the division's easier for me. All right. The router, the way I set up right here, it's a knob, okay, and the rods go in like this. The router rides partially on the rail, and I tighten this. It's a central clamping knob, just like that. But if we watch, it wants to tilt off. So, this is called a support bracket. Do you know what it does? It supports. There you go, good. Wow, these guys are wicked smart. Okay, good. So I'm gonna put this on here like this. Okay, Chris, maybe you can come in and see this. Now, I kinda cheated a little. I was good like that in school, okay? It has a scale here. It's available in Imperial. So 1/2 of 3/4 what? 3/8. I had to look, that's good, I had to look that one up. Okay, but what's 1/2 of 18?
9.
Connor is now known as Mr. Metric. Okay, good. Okay, so I can split the difference. Now, here is what Festool has on their routers. And if there's any point I have to get across to you today, is setup is so much easier when you set up a router with Festool, because on every single one of our routers, there's a scribed quadrant center line. That's the exact center of your router bit, the center of the bit. It's because we precision grind the rods, and we are fanatical about our quality of our tools. All our tools have a 3-year warranty as well. That was for you, corporate. Okay, good. So as I come in here, see this right here? That's the center line of my router. So if you've ever set up a parallel edge guide with a router, that makes it easy. As long as you what? You have a scribe center line. So I did a quick layout here this morning. Okay, I made an 18mm layout, and I used to take router bits on other systems that I designed when I made jigs, okay, and I would put the edge of the flute on the edge there and run it, because it was close enough. But with Festool, you can get absolutely perfect, because what I did is I found right here that 9mm center line, okay, I scribed it out. I'm gonna take it like this. Sorry, my back's to you folks. Okay, I'm gonna bring it in here, and I'm gonna scribe a center line. And whenever I was looking at plans, building cabinetry, I would always like, how am I gonna scribe, because everything's off a center line on plans, okay? And I look at it and I go, oh, how am I gonna get that? That's why I purchased from my cabinet shop a Festool router, because I found out it had a center line on all 4 sides. Okay, so when I come in here and set it up, I'm just gonna set it up pretty quick like this. Give me a second. Just like this. And I'm bringing it over to the center line. Okay, now I'm just gonna take my board, and here's another thing about the multifunction table. Now I have stops this way, so I have repeatability if I have to do multiples. I'm gonna bring it in just like this. I'm gonna take a lever clamp, lock it right down here like this, so I have no movement, because routers go round and round, and there we go. Now, there's something that Festool's world renowned for. It's our dust extraction. I see you folks using our dust extractors down at the other end today. We better be good at it. We've been doing it forever. We're world renowned for our dust extractors. So if you've used a router before, you know how messy they are. We're gonna capture the lion's share of it, okay? And I just wanted to say that right now to you, or tell you that, because I get caught up in everything. I also have to set depth on a router, right? Okay, so I got center line. But man, you know what? I wanna stop it precisely here and start it. So it's a mortise now. If I went from the opening to a stop, it's a blind dado. Okay, so but what I'm gonna do, and this is why center line's important, we found out 1/2 of 18 is 9. So Chris, can you come in here and you guys can see this after? I have a 0, that's the center of the bit. I'm gonna take it, oops, sorry Chris.
All good.
Okay, and I'm gonna set it exactly at 9, and I don't have to think about it, because I have a stop that slides right in here, just like that. And to start it, I'll bring it over and set it at 9 as well. Just like this. So now I don't have to think about it. The only thing I have to do is set depth. Have you guys been taught how to set depth on a router yet? Good. Because every time somebody taught me growing up how to set depth, I was like, I'd scratch. That's why I have no more hair. I was always scratching my head. Okay? That's how I got rid of my mullet. Okay, good. So, I'm going to take that, I'm going to close that, and I'm going to do this as simple as I know how to set depth. I zero out the router. That 18 millimeter bit is now flush with that. I have to go what? Another 5 millimeters in depth. So I know that this Allen key is 5 millimeters. I'm going to take it like this. I'm going to set my turret and my rod at the very bottom. Now that's at 0. And I'm going to take something I know is 5 millimeters. That's like a gauge block, isn't it? That's all you have to do. I don't read scales anymore. It can be that simple. So if you ever have to do inlay or do a notch at a certain depth, just get a piece of that, whatever you're notching, and put it right in between the stop. It's easy. Okay. Let me see where I'm at. Just double check everything. A little bit of safety. When you go to put power to a router or any power tool, always remember to cycle it off. Make sure it's off, it's not locked on. Okay, I'm going to come over here and put it on auto because this will automatically trigger when I turn the router on. I'm going to put dust extraction here. Okay, I'm going to put this little guide right here. And I'm going to take what we call a plug-it cord. Okay, I'll put it in here. This one will work on every single Festool tool. It's a full, always remember when you plug in a Festool, the plug-it, it's a full quarter turn. Okay, now, oh boy, I always do this. I always verify everything is tight on here and we're ready to go. You're gonna notice I haven't cycled on yet. My hand goes on here and never comes off until I'm finished and the power is off. So I'm gonna take it. There's that 5 millimeters of depth. See how my hand's still there? And there you go. That's how you do a dado mortise. You can actually do a tenon, a series of tenons with this. The MFT table in conjunction with a guide stop of 1400, it becomes a joinery system. Out on the job site with extreme accuracy. Okay? Any questions? Like what color does it come in? No? Wait for it.
I noticed you didn't lock that saw at that depth, you just use your hand pressure.
Yes. For me, no need to lock it because I know my pressure's there and I know I've hit that rod. Okay? If I have to lock it, my hand would have come off the guide stop. And I don't want that because it's pinned, it's not, that guide stop is not locked in.
Right, so you really want to control that guide stop.
Yes, and I don't want to say, yeah, I am fanatical about safety because I've seen some people do this where they turn it on, they plunge and lock on, and it just scares me because that's a router bit spinning at 22,500 RPM roughly, and if it catches, it's coming off. Okay, so I'm always talking safety, safety, safety 101 every time. Yep, thank you very much. Any other questions? Whew! Okay, so not bad. I told you about 12:30. Okay, so what we do at the end of Festool Live, everybody, is I'm going to get this notepad. Wow. So if you've never watched Festool Live, it started out on April 10th, 9th or 10th of 2020, the beginning of the lockdown we had in the US. And I didn't know what to do. I'm a trainer and I always trained in person. So a few of us at Festool, we started Festool Live. And about the 10th episode, and we do it every single Friday. And I think this is like the 4th or 5th one we've done in person. I couldn't wait to come up here. You guys were like top of the list when we showed up. When we were going to Canada, I go, let's reach out to Connor. and it's a global community. And at the end of every episode, not everybody stays to the end, but I call out all the countries that are watching. Okay, we got 2 pages. Okay, or 2 1/4. So bear with me, because a lot of people correct me over the time I see people like, that's not how you pronounce Suriname. Okay, all right. So I'm going to call it out. We have Mike Martinez from Austin, Texas. We have John McNabb from Ipswich, Queensland, Australia. Derek from Harrogate. How you doing, Derek? Dana Willis from Yokolt, Washington. Joe from Waseca, Illinois. Ian Harrison from East Yorkshire. Ian has seen every single Festool live. He's been with us live. Andrew Ghazi from Enfield, Connecticut. Michael from Paris, France. Springfield, Virginia. We have Betty's Bay, South Africa. We have Fenton, Michigan. We have Toledo, Ohio. We have Ross from Chichester. Larry from Sun City, Arizona. He's been there. We have Brian St. John Moss from the Bahamas. And he's been my friend for 30 years. And he found me again on Festool Live. This is why I dig doing this. How you doing, Bri? All right. We have Julian from Lausanne, Switzerland. Ed from... I think people put stuff on here to get me to pronounce stuff incorrectly. I think it's Dos Harbors, Minnesota. Johnny from Memphis, Tennessee. George from Naples. Joey from Texas. Jason and Yana from Granite Falls, Oregon. They corrected me on that. Adam from Hilton Head, South Carolina. We have Tom and Kelly from Eatonton, Georgia. They've watched every single Festool Live. We have Jeff from Clarksburg, Pennsylvania. Michael from Edmonton, Alberta. We have Warren from Batavia, Ohio. Los Angeles. Christopher from Malta. He's seen every single Festool Live. We have Mike from Perth, Australia. Do you know what time it is there? It's about 1 o'clock in the morning. Isn't that crazy? Wow. All right, I'm sorry, I just get jazzed on this. Okay, we have Mason from London, Ontario. That's not too far, right? 2 hours. Okay. From Toronto. Okay, got it. I'm getting there. All right. Dan from Kingman, Ontario. Craig and Tyler from Virginia. I'll see you at Hattville. Paris from Montreal, Canada. We got a lot of people from Canada. Derek from Oakville, Ontario. Brad from LaGrange, Indiana. Back home. Dirk from Dayton. We have Leominster, Mass. That's Dennis and Lucas. We have Mark from the Netherlands. Sully from Haverhill. That's Massachusetts. We have Petri from Yolarvi, Finland. We have Minnie Gleb from Lebanon, Indiana. That's great. She's usually the one writing all of these on the whiteboard when you watch Festool Live back home. It's awesome. Okay, hey man, we miss you. Okay, Gail from Eden, New York. Anthony from Staten Island, New York. You got to say Anthony when they're from New York, right? Okay, good. We have Milos from Serbia. Wow. Roll, I just know you Roll from Wolvega, Netherlands. Thank you, Roll. We have Sean from Shawsville, Virginia. Yitsu from Paramaribo, Suriname. I looked it up eventually. I know how to say it now. Okay. We have Jacob from Rhode Island. Sanders from Oscar Shaman. Oh, Oscar. It's not Oscar Mayer. It's Oscar Shaw, Minnesota. Brad's just going, whatever, Sedge. We have Mike Murphy from Delaware. All right, you know, Wayne's World. Delaware. Okay. Okay, I have a question for everybody here. How many of you seen the original Wayne's World? He's laughing. Hey, you, Chris the unit has never seen Wayne's World. That is... I'm not alone. He's a happy camper. Okay, everybody. I'm going to say thank you to everybody who came by to see us. Connor, Jules, thank you. Alan, thank you very much. We have some faculty here. We appreciate George Brown College for allowing us to come in here. You guys are part of one heck of a great program. I so wish I had something available like this growing up. But I think I ended up in the right spot. Okay, Brad, I want to say thank you to my lucky charm over here, Mr. Colburn. You put all of this together for us. Much appreciated. Hey, Big D, you better watch out, man, because the lucky charm is stepping up, baby. And I'm going to wrap this up and say thank you to everybody watching. We love you. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you for watching episode 112, the first International Festool Live. Woo! Have a great weekend, everybody.